don't say that. Yes, here we are back again. I know I won't get any pity from anybody, but gosh darn, I worked every single day this week.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. We do that every week, so get it. So, welcome to worship. We're delighted that you're here. If you're a newcomer worshiping with us for the first time, a special welcome to you. We're delighted that you've chosen to be with us this morning. There are lots of snackies, so please help yourself to snackies and the coffee and the tea and all that good stuff before, during, and after worship. And speaking of that, we now have a new sign-up sheet for greeters and worship assistants and snacky people. So I'm going to send that around. It goes through October, so you know the drill. Don't make me beg. And there is a sign-up sheet on your table somewhere. So we hope that you will use this time to sign it. Let us know that you're here. And if you are a newcomer, if you would add your contact information, we sure would appreciate getting to know a little bit more about you. And as usual, there are coloring pages. So feel free to get in tune with yourself and do some like quiet coloring meditation also during worship. So, how many of you would say that, like me, you are kind of caught up in Olympic fever? Really, too?
I'm over it.
You're over it. Oh my Lord! No, I am so inspired by this all. I'm telling you, like even though I'm tired at night, well, Kurt will tell you, I start off watching the Olympics, and then about an hour into it, I'm not watching the Olympics anymore, and he wakes me up and tells me to go to bed. But I've been trying to catch as much as I can, because I really do find them to be inspiring. I mean, I was kind of taken aback. I think it was last week when they started. One of my friends posted on Facebook like, "Oh, the Olympics! I'm so over them. They're so cheesy. It's all stupid." And I'm like, "No, it warms my whole heart." So, for those of you, well, first of all, talk amongst yourselves. Get to know the people at your table. If you are, like two people or one person at a table, then hook up with the next table or something. And just say, like, okay, maybe if you don't like the Olympics, just fake it for a minute. Like, what's your favorite part of the Olympics? Like, do you have a favorite athlete? Do you have a favorite sport? Go. 1, 2, 3, go.
I didn't get to watch the opening ceremony, but they usually do like I like diving, and I like gymnastics. So some running. I like the equestrian boat.
Oh, that's my question. And so I was caught up.
Okay, now, prepare yourself. You get to work as a team, okay? So, once again, if you want to make your team larger by combining with the table next to you, this is a game and there will be no prizes. So, we're going to play Name That Olympic Athlete, okay? You do not need to raise your hand. Just blurt it out, and I will try to distinguish which table says it first.
Good luck.
I know there'll be competition. I know you people. I know you are competitive. Journey is like, gotta get this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, go! That was definitely a. Kurt says somebody back. Which table?
The back table.
The back table. Round table. Welcome to the middle table. Go for the goal here. Yeah, I have no medal. So there we go. Okay, ready for the next one? 1, 2, oh. Yeah, there's some more. Simone Manuel. Actually, see, I gave it away because it's right on her swim cap. So there we go. All right. 1, 2, 3. That's a tie, right? Yeah. All right. Now we're going to get a little bit harder, I think. What? Yes. Katie Ledecky, also of the story. You can tell which sports I watch the most of. I watch mostly gymnastics and stuff. Okay. Lest we think that all we care about is U.S. sports. Let's go to a different country. 1, 2, 3. I love this dude. Do you like I love him. And you know what? I love the way he runs, but he has fun doing it. Like, did you watch him run any of you catches racing? Like, he's like chit-chatting with the people next to him and like laughing at them and like just as he passes them going, ah! Okay. Last one, and I think this might be tough, but I think you guys know the story behind it, so let's go 1, 2, 3.
The refugee who swam.
The refugee who swam. Did you catch this backstory? So for the first time in Olympic history, we had a refugee team. And this is Yara. Yara got on the refugee team. Her backstory is that as she was fleeing Syria, the motor on their boat fell, quit. So she got out of the boat and swam the whole boat to the shore. And thus qualifying for the Olympics. I don't think she won any medals, but her story is totally inspiring. So we're going to use the Olympics today as a little backdrop. Springboard, get it? For talking a little bit about our faith and what it might mean for us to have Olympic faith running the race that's set before us. So as we get ready to do that, Chris is going to start us off with our call to worship and opening prayer.
We have encountered the Word, calling us into communion with God and with each other, and calling us into discipleship to carry on Christ's work in our world. So we come together here, joining hands and in great quest.
To worship God, to love each other, and to serve the world.
Join me in an opening prayer.
God, you are the source of our new life. Gather us now together, we pray. Form us into a holy communion of your own people.
Mold us by your breath of your Holy Spirit. Renew in this corporate body the face of your anointed Christ. Amen.
Okay.
All right, it's singing time. The band is back and we're good. I won't do that.
Jesus,
seat. And children, this is your magical moment to hang out with the amazing Kate and Brianna. They're fun. They're coming slowly. And our reading for the day comes to us from Hebrews 12, and Christine's going to share portions of that chapter with us.
So then let's also run the race that is laid out in front of us, since we have such a great cloud of witnesses surrounding us. Let's throw off any extra baggage, get rid of the sin that trips us up, and fix our eyes on Jesus, faith's pioneer and perfecter. He endured the cross, ignoring the shame for the sake of joy that was laid out in front of him, and sat down at the right side of God's throne. Strengthen your drooping hands and weak knees. Make straight paths for your feet so that if any part is lame, it will be healed rather than injured more seriously. Pursue the goal of peace along with everyone, and holiness as well, because no one will see the Lord without it. Make sure that no one misses out on God's grace. Make sure that no root of bitterness grows up that might cause trouble and pollute many people. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God. And all of these are recorded for us in Hebrews chapter 11. So if you are Bible scholars, this will be a piece of cake for you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is give you a reading. It's going to appear on the screen, and you just need to fill in the blank with the name of the person who's described. Because what happens in the 11th chapter of Hebrews is the author just goes through and lists all these heroes of faith and their accomplishments. So here's the first one. By faith, this person offered a better sacrifice to God than Cain, which showed that he was righteous since God gave him Abel. What? Abel. Who got it?
Me.
Oh yeah, Don't get some bastards here, okay? Okay. By faith, this person was taken up so that he didn't see death, and he wasn't found because God took him up. He was given approval for having pleased God before he was taken up.
Elijah.
You know, that's what I thought too. I think it's a trick question. Hebrews says it's Enoch.
Oh yeah, Enoch too.
Yeah, Enoch too, but you know, we know Elijah. So I will give partial credit for Elijah. Next. By faith, this person responded with godly fear when he was warned about events he hadn't seen. He built an ark. Okay, look, it's an easy one. Okay, I think this next one's pretty easy too. By faith, this person obeyed when he was called to go into a place that he was going to receive as an inheritance. He went out without knowing where he was going. By faith, he lived in a land he had been promised as a stranger. It is Abraham. And we should put Sarah in there too, because she read a lot in the Bible, was a little biased sometimes. Okay, next one. By faith, this person received the ability to have a child. All right. 3 months when he was born because he saw that the child was beautiful.
Moses.
Moses, you guys are good. Look at, you're actually doing better on the Bible one than you did on the Olympic one.
I'm glad.
Pastor proud moment. Okay, by faith this person who was also a prostitute wasn't killed in the disobedience. Rahab. Who got it?
I did.
All right. Yeah. All right. Do we have more? Yeah. No, that's it. Okay.
Aw,
But this is the way, I could have gone on and on because this is the way the chapter ends. There's all these lists. If you want to go to Hebrews 11 and read the whole list, there's more. And this is the way the chapter concludes. What more can I say? I would run out of time if I told you about Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, David, Samuel, and the prophets. Through faith, they conquered kingdoms, brought about justice, realized promises, shut the mouths of lions, put out raging fires, escaped from the edge of the sword, found strength in weakness, were mighty in war, and routed foreign armies. Women received back their dead by resurrection. Others were tortured and refused to be released so they could gain a better resurrection. But others experienced public shame by being taunted and whipped. They were even put in chains and in prison. They were stoned to death. They were cut in two, and they died by being murdered with swords. They went around wearing the skins of sheep and goats, needy, oppressed, and mistreated. The world didn't deserve them. They wandered around in deserts, mountains, caves, and holes in the ground. All these people didn't receive what was promised, though they were given approval for their faith. God provided something better for us so that they would be made perfect without us. So that's kind of the Faith Olympics. Who wants to sign up? Lots of torture, lots of death, lots of destruction. It's kind of like... Reading the list, I think, can be inspiring on one hand, but it can also be daunting. It's kind of like that experience that I have when I watch the Olympics at night. You know, I plop my little rear end on my sofa, either with my iced tea or my glass of wine, and I watch. And as I watch people, I'm inspired. And I think to myself, for at least a brief moment, I should get up and go to my treadmill and watch the treadmill. No, that's not going to happen. And then I see people like accomplishing these great things. I'm like, I really could be doing more. But it's all a little overwhelming, right? Because I know this is going to be hard for you all to believe, but I know I'm not Olympic gold material. I'm pretty sure that these days I would not even be able to walk on a balance beam. I did it in middle school. I think I actually got to a point where I could do some kind of turn. But these days I know myself a lot. I fall over during yoga poses, so the balance beam isn't going to work for me. And even though, on the treadmill, I have worked myself up to a fast walk of 3.5 when I'm on my treadmill, I know that I could not even run 100 meters. I know this for a fact. I've tried. Last summer I thought, I probably should start running. Not never going to happen. The same could be said for all of the gold-winning men and women of faith that we just mentioned. Their stories are inspirational. They're motivating. But by comparison, Abraham and Sarah and Moses and Noah seem at times to be way out of my league. I can't possibly ever be like them. I can't measure up. And so how is it that we can have that kind of faith? Why does this chapter in Hebrews exist? Is it there just to kind of make us feel bad about ourselves? Well, I think it follows up with Hebrews 12, the part that Christine read for us. And in that is kind of a blueprint for our training, if we are ever going to have that kind of Olympic faith. So I want to kind of break that down for you, and I just want you to hear it again. So let's also run the race that is laid out in front of us. Since we have such great a cloud of witnesses surrounding us, let's throw off any extra baggage, get rid of the sin that trips us up, and fix our eyes on Jesus, faith's pioneer and perfecter. Let's run the race that is laid out in front of us. That's how it starts. Okay? Here at Journey, we talk a little bit, well, we talk a lot about spiritual journeys, right? Thus the name of the church. We recognize that we together are on a spiritual journey, but we also recognize that each of us has a unique spiritual journey. My journey is not the same as any one of you than what you've encountered in your journey. We have, I think, 8 pastors here, soon to, I think, the 11th. And even my journey is not the same as each pastor who is in this congregation. We all have unique journeys because, you see, God has created us each with unique strengths and abilities God has made us and created us in a special way so that we are unique, and by nature, by virtue of that fact, we each have a different journey that takes us up and down through life with twists and turns that are unique to us as individuals. And I think it's important for us in our training to be and have this Olympic faith to recognize that each of us is different. My training is not the same as your training. My journey is not the same. My strengths are not the same as yours. So imagine for a moment what it would be like, since we had the test earlier with the Simones, what would it be like to switch those around? If swimming Simone went and tried to, perform a balance beam routine, and balance beam Simone went and tried to swim, what would happen? Would they get gold? No, because they have abilities. So we can remember that. In training for our Olympic faith, we need to recognize that each of us is different. We are called to run the race that is set before each of us. But we don't do it alone. The next part of that says that we are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. Now, sometimes in the faith, we think of that as, the people who have died and gone on before, the saints in heaven cheering us on. There's a picture in Scripture about that, and we see all these people in heaven go, woo, 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 go, go, go. But the witnesses are also the people who are running the race with us, the people in this very room, the people who we have in our lives who support and encourage us. There's the people who are leading the way. There are people who are running beside us. There are people in the stands who are cheering us on. We have teammates. And if I learned nothing else on sabbatical, that's what I learned, is that it does take a team. And a team can be an amazing thing, right? We do not have to run our race alone. We have people to encourage us and support us in the good times and in the bad times. Maybe you remember an Olympic moment. I think was it this week or the week before, when it was on the track and field portion. And do you remember one of our runners trying? Just watch the video if you haven't seen it before. This is a USA runner getting tripped up, falling. And then what does she do? Gets up, helps the other person up. The other person actually was not able to finish the race, but they greet each other at the end in this wonderful embrace. Now, the stories of people getting gold medals at the Olympics truly inspires me, but this kind of thing inspires me more. It's just like one of those, kind of international moments that I want to cherish. And I think it teaches us something about running this race with the cloud of witnesses. There will be somebody there to kind of pick us up and help us across the finish line if we need it. And then the next part of it, it says we run this race with a cloud of witnesses, and it says part of the training then is to throw off any extra baggage and get rid of the sin that trips us up. Show of hands, how many of you have baggage? I know you, Journey, I know you all do. And I do too, and that's not the baggage that I just got rid of, that I toted around on my sabbatical the whole time. I got some serious baggage, and if you want to know what it is, I'll sit down and have a beer with you and tell you all about it. We have those things that have happened to us in the past. People that have hurt us, situations that have hurt us, sometimes even institutions and churches that have hurt us. Sometimes people have betrayed us. Sometimes there's all sorts. The list could go on and on of things that have happened to us in our lives that we carry with us. In Hebrews it says, as much as possible, throw off that baggage. Get rid of it because it only weighs us down. And it impacts our faith and keeps us from having the strongest faith possible. Somehow or another, we need to figure out how to get rid of all of that. If you look at all of those the Hebrews 11 heroes of faith list, what I find fascinating about that, and this is where it helps to be knowledgeable a little bit about Bible, all of those people listed had baggage. They all made huge mistakes. Their life wasn't perfect. They didn't go through their journey just sailing breezily through everything. Abraham, remember, he doubted that the promise for a great people was not going to happen. He doubted that. And so what did he do? He took his wife's servant and like took her to bed and tried to, you know, like speed along this little process of having children and descendants. Do you remember what Noah did? Immediately after he gets off the ark? Gets drunk, man. Just like drop down dead drunk. Not like, oh, I had a couple and I got a good buzz going. Super drunk. And remember the story of Rahab. Rahab is a prostitute and she makes the list. But somehow or another, in all of their training for faith, they were able to put those things behind them, get rid of the baggage, and move on. And then finally it says, this gives us this advice. We let go of the baggage, and that allows us to fix our eyes on Jesus, faith's pioneer and perfecter. What does that look like? It says a little bit later in Hebrews 12 what that looks like. Pursue the goal of peace with everyone. Keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus means we pursue the goal of peace with everyone. And then it tags on, and holiness as well. If we fix our eyes on Jesus, Hebrews 12 verse 15 says, we want to make sure that no one misses out on God's grace. No one. No matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you get God's grace. And finally it says, make sure that no root of bitterness grows up that might cause trouble and pollute many people. Keeping that training plan in mind, I just want you to ask yourself this question this morning. How is your training going? What aspect of the training is a little bit weak? Are you having problems with a cloud of witnesses? Are you having trouble figuring out what your journey is? Is it problematic for you to fix your eyes on Jesus and let go of that baggage? Tonight we will have the closing ceremonies for the Olympics, and we won't really talk much about the Summer Olympics for 4 more years until they reappear in Tokyo in 2020. But the reality is our Olympic faith training goes on and on, right? So I want us to think about that together, and especially as we enter into kind of this fall and this new program year, to think about what we can do to kind of up our training a little bit. And towards that end, I invite you to join me as we pray, and I'm going to kind of read the prayer and pray the prayer quietly and softly, but I want you to think and reflect on what this may mean for you. Let's pray together. Lord, as we seek to become heroes of faith, may we run with perseverance the race that is set before us. May we hear the voices of the huge cloud of witnesses around us. May we encourage others as they encourage us through good times and bad. We pray that we will be able to throw off everything that stands in our way, the burdens we bear, the hurts that trip us up, the pain that threatens to bring us down. Help us to throw off all that bears down on us and let us accept the grace you offer so freely. Let us run the race marked out for us, following the footsteps of Jesus. Keep our eyes focused on Him, in whom our faith is perfected, as we strive for peace and holiness, and as we go forth to share His grace with others. Amen. In addition to that prayer, we join together in offering our prayers for ourselves and for each other. So if you would please join me first in our responsive call to prayer. Holy God, as you have touched us,
may we now touch others with your love and us.
And so we take the flame and we light our care candles for ourselves, for those named or remembered, and in solidarity with those who cannot express their concern or celebration. And I'll light this candle for all those things that we offer up silently in our hearts and minds. And if you would join me in prayer. Gracious God, we come before you and we recognize that you have called us to a journey, and sometimes that journey is filled with joys. And so we give you thanks for all of the ways that we have seen you work in our lives this week and the past weeks. But we also realize that journey has twists and turns, and oftentimes there are moments when we are handed baggage to carry. And so we ask, oh God, that you would hear our prayers for ourselves, for others, the moments that we have lifted up to you this morning, for the prayers that we find just too painful to lift before you. And we put this all in your hands. We let go of it, oh God, trusting that you will not only hear our prayers, but answer our prayers. Amen. So we have opportunity to respond to all of God's grace by presenting our offerings. So I'm going to pass the offering plates around. Once again, if you're a newcomer worshiping with us for the first time, this is really for those who have made a commitment to us and to the ministry that we do here. So please be our guest. Accomplish your purposes, we pray, through these gifts and in our lives. Amen. Okay, beautiful. Stand on up, it's singing time. And this is not only a singing song, it's a dancing song. From whom all blessings flow, let us go in peace to serve the Lord. Amen.